Hello Internet. So yeah, back with comic book talks for the week of February 19th, 2014. And today I'm going to do the same thing, 3 issues. The first three I read, what I thought about them after I read them. And I just got done reading Uncanny X-Men number 17. Oh, I love Uncanny X-Men. Okay, so this issue is pretty cool because it's like a training, basically, field test with the New Mutants, finally. You get to go into the field and see what they're made of. And so you have the issue starts off with basically Magic just dropping them off, and we don't know where they're at. And then it's pretty funny because like the whole time, the New Mutants are like, okay, where are we? It looks like we're in, or you have like the Cuckoo sisters who are like, we're in the Savage Land, but then not all of them agree, and one of them's like, this is not the Savage Land, and then one of them's like, this is so the Savage Land. So that was pretty funny. And then they're all trying to like figure out where they're at, and then Hijack, the dude who can control like electronics or machines or whatever. I don't know, one of those two. He pulls out his cell phone. He's like, okay, let me check Google Maps to see where we're at. And so he looks it up, and he's like, wait, we're in Montana. And then they're all looking around like, this is so not Montana. There's no way we're in Montana. And then before anything can happen, they get charged by this giant creature thing, and they basically split up after that because they're all forced into different directions. So Gold Balls and Eva go one direction, and you have Hijack, one of the Cuckoo sisters, and Morph go one way, and then you have Triage and two of the other Cuckoo sisters go another way, and like he's screaming the whole time. He's just like, ah! It's just like running. It's hilarious. And then like before that happens though, like there's a whole conversation where Hijack calls out Eva about like having a crush on Cyclops, and she's like, you know, we all know you like Professor Cyclops or whatever. And she's like, I do not have a thing, blah 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 blah. That was funny. And then so you continue on. So you have this giant bird thing, lizard monster creature. I don't know. It's got like the body of a bird and like the head of a reptilian-like creature. But that kind of, whatever. So, but yeah. So Eva puts herself in a time bubble and she's like, save powers, save me. And then Gold Balls just like shoots out his gold balls and takes it down. It falls over, but then he can't find Eva, and he's like, Eva, where'd you go? And then off panel you have like this shriek, this scream of "Aye!" And then it shows there's a there's a spider web and like this really small bug on it, and Triage is just freaking out about it. And he's like, get away! I'm freaking out! I'm scared! Save me! He's just like going like out of his mind, scared. It's hilarious. And so one of the Cuckoo sisters does like something similar to what they did in when they went to Limbo, and she's like, be brave, and touches him and like does that and like goes into his head, makes him not brave, and he's like, did you just go into my mind and make me not freak out? And she's like, yeah, sorry, it was either that or slap you. And it's like, oh man, I feel so much better. And then they're both like, okay dude, you can't just freak out every time we're in the field and stuff's going down, because you know it's just unacceptable. And Gold Ball shows up and he's like, dude, have you seen Emma? And they're like, no. And they're still trying to figure out like, where are we? Like, this doesn't seem like Montana. And then it goes to Hijack, Morph, and the third Cuckoo sister. And then the Hijack's basically talking like, you know, this must be, you know, Montana millions of years in the future or the past. It's like they kind of like don't know, but they're like, okay, 100 years, a million years in the past. I mean, in the future. I'm sorry. Yeah, in the future. He's like, it has to be. He's like, I'm looking at my Google Maps, and it's like, you know, this. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, no, that's what the Cuckoo sister is saying that. And then she gets like a psychic reading behind some plant, and she's trying to like figure out like what it is before it jumps out and like attacks them or something. But then it takes her out, and she's like, and like just falls over. And then Morph goes over, and he does that thing where he turns into the thing that he's talking to, and gets and that he does his power thing. It's hard to describe. Where he like, he becomes what he's talking to, and then it gets like a reflective. What's the word? It's hard to put into words. I'd have to go back and read that issue. But it gets a familiarity with the thing he's talking to, and it feels comfortable, and therefore it becomes more docile. And so that's basically what happens. And then one of the aliens touches him, and he's like, uh-oh. And then after that happens, they seem to like relent their attack on Celeste. And then she gets up and she's like, oh, no, you guys are totally about to pay for what you just did. And then I guess they're still reading her mind as she's thinking about like attacking them. And then they're about to attack and charge them, because they go from like these docile bipedal like alien creatures, kind of like the gray skin aliens, if you're familiar with those, with like the big heads, to like they have like these like just teeth come out, and they're like mouths open, like they're about to like to eat them, and like it seems like there's scales forming, so they're about to just like go into like chomp them up and eat them mode. But before that can happen, Eva shows back up. She puts them in a time bubble, and then everyone's like, oh, there's Eva, she's not dead, yay. And then Morph's like, alright, nice time bubble save, Emma. Let's see what else. Oh, and she's talking to one of the Cuckoo sisters, and she's like, okay, you can read my mind, and you know where I've been, don't tell anybody. And I'm guessing that she like fell into like either some poop or like the stomach of something, because she has all this like junk, this like stuff on her that's like cause it's not blood, but it's not, I guess it's not dirt either, because she's like, don't tell anybody where it was. And then the healer dude goes up to like heal her, and she's like, don't touch me. And he's like, hey, I was just trying to heal you, dude. You look like you're battle damaged. And she's like, I'm fine. And they're also like, okay, well, we don't know where we're at. Let's just see if we can get out of here. And then they're about to leave, or trying to leave, and they turn around, and S.H.I.E.L.D's there with Hawkeye, Spider-Woman, and some S.H.I.E.L.D. What would they be called? I guess. Oh, Agent Coulson's there too, and some like S.H.I.E.L.D. Dudes, or not S.H.I.E.L.D. dudes, but like S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents. Yeah, whatever. So they're there, and then Nick Fury's like, all right, dudes, you're under arrest. Stand down. We're taking you in, and we know what Cyclops is doing, but we don't care, because he's crazy and he's a killer, and we're gonna arrest him. And so that happens, but then before anything can happen, Hijack takes control of their guns, or the armor because the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are wearing armor, and so they have these guns, and then Hijack takes control of them, and then all of a sudden like they turn their guns on him, and he's like, no, you're not going to take us anywhere. And so he does that, and then he's like, alright, Cuckoo Sisters, take their weapons, or leave them with their weapons, and we'll get out of here. But then before that can happen, Magic jumps in, teleports them out, and then it just leaves the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents wherever they were at. And then back at the New Xavier School, Cyclops is all like, what do you have to say for yourself? And then Hijack's like, well, what do you have to say for yourself? You just dropped us off in the middle of nowhere, some prehistoric hell. And then Eva's like, futuristic hell? And we could have got killed. And Cyclops is all, it was field training. I was trying to see how you guys would react under pressure, yada yada yada, and you completely failed. And then one of the Cuckoo Sisters is like, hey, that's not fair. We all came back alive, nobody died. And then he's like, I didn't say you all failed. He's like, Fabio Medina took a bow, who's at Gold Balls. So it's like, everybody, he's like, Gold Balls, good job. That was great. He's like, Gold Balls, you passed, flying colors. That was funny. But yeah, then he's all, well, yeah, then something happens. I'm not going to say what happens. You're going to see see the full thing in the issue on store shelves, if you should go and buy. And it looks like there's going to be one less member of the team. And then the preview for the next issue is all the confession of Cyclops, and the cover is all goodness Cyclops' head. And it's like, oh, this is going to be interesting. So, 17 was great. Can't wait for number 18. Still loving Uncanny X-men. Can't get enough. But yeah, I totally enjoyed it. And I think I'll be reading up next Daredevil. Yep. Final issue of Daredevil. And then I will read the first 3 issues of Unity so I can get to do and then I will read issue number 4. So yeah, that'll be, so Daredevil, what number is this? Number 36, coming up after this. Alright, I'm back. I just read Daredevil number 36, and like always, didn't disappoint. It was really good. So this issue, we pick up where, basically, Matt goes to testify, but he's being extorted by one of the Sons of the Serpents about, if you don't do this for me to defend my client, who is my son, I'm gonna come public with the information that you're Daredevil and completely ruin your life. And so there's a scene where he's talking to Foggy in the hospital before it picks it back with the trial, and he's like they're talking about the strategy that they have and the plan that they have for the what they're gonna do in the courtroom for the case to pin the serpents on the wall. And so they're like, it's a long shot, it's a really crazy idea, but it might work. So we go back to the actually well, there's more to it than that. It's basically just like Foggy talking to like Matt about how he has integrity and how it's really the one thing that can like withstand anything, and like Daredevil's integrity, and how it's really inspiring and whatnot. It's pretty cool scene. But then we're back in the courtroom, and it was really cool because the whole issue for the most part was basically just like this courtroom drama where it's like Daredevil being like, yeah, I'm Daredevil, or Matt being like, yeah, I'm Daredevil, and just like it, and just the weight off his shoulders, and how it was like able to basically turn the tide over him in this case, and just completely what's the word I can use here? But just like destroy the extortion attempt by the Sons of the Serpents to try to get him to play ball with them and like go their way. So he says he's Daredevil. There's this really cool panel, like when he says that. Well, he said it last issue, but basically it's set up again where like the lawyer lady that he's working with, I forget her name, I'm sorry. She's like, will you repeat your statement for the record, Mr. Murdoch? And he's like, certainly. Under oath and with God as in the media as my witness, I'm telling you that I'm Daredevil, always have been, always will be. And like there's this really awesome panel, I'll put a screen capture, where it's like, I'm Daredevil, and it has, a bunch of different characters like reacting to it, like when he says it at the moment. It's just really well done, just like another like highlight of like the art in this book and why it's so good. But yeah, then like back to the courtroom, it just continues on the trial, and he's like basically giving his statements and whatnot about how he's Daredevil, and all this proof about like why, like that's showing that he is Daredevil in fact. And then she asks him, well, if you're Daredevil, why did you sue the Globe when they wanted to out you as Daredevil if it wasn't true? And then it's funny because the narration, like the inner monologue, is all, man, I hadn't reversed this part of the speech before, so I was kind of thinking this would come easily, but it didn't. And then the judge is all like, you have 1 second to answer this, Mr. Murdoch. And then like during the course of the trial, he's like, well, the judge is like not doing a lot of things he should be doing, and then he realizes, oh, the judge is a serpent too. So that's pretty good. And so he just starts up the speech about why heroes that have like a double life of like they have their public life and their private life, like why they have to hide their true identity even though it's kind of a lie, like why they do that, and like why Ada weighed him, and like why he did that, and like why he sued the paper to keep his identity private or to like dispel rumors or whatnot. But like as he's doing this, you had another one of the serpents in the room watching the trial. I think it was the dude whose son's on trial. So that the son's dad is one of the serpents, and he calls in like a strike team to come in and kill Daredevil. And so there's all these panels of like them proceeding into the courtroom as Matt's talking about, you know, why have I hidden my identity for so long and whatnot. And so he like ends the speech and he's like, I'm Daredevil, that's the truth, as is this judge blah 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 hired assassins last night to kill me, and I wouldn't be able to defend my client. And that's what happened in the last issue. He's like, you know, he went to go check out some evidence and whatnot, but there were some serpents on the scene doing stuff to like, you know, plant or just mess with the evidence and whatnot. And so he says that, and like right after he says that, the serpents bust in, all hell breaks loose, and it's just awesome melee action where Daredevil's just like beating down on dudes. And yeah, it was great. It's great throwdown. It's fantastic. Just, you know, everything was great. So that happens, and then because of that, he was able to, you know, prove his well, I guess not. It was funny because it wasn't really like proving his innocence as much as it was painting both the judge and the dude that set him up like that they were, you know, they were what's the words escape me, but but yeah, they painted themselves in a corner as well, and that's also something he said in like the inner monologue, was like, once I take down the dudes in this room, I'll be able to just like, you know, put them on the stand and let them testify against these two, and it'll show that they were in fact you know, corrupt people in the system, as like, which is what the Swords of the Serpents have been doing in like this arc of just like infiltrating the justice system. And now Daredevil's like finally at the root of it and able to like route it out, so that's pretty cool. But then there's fallout because he goes to he's at the New York Supreme Court, the appellate division. So he's at this tribunal, I guess, about like them revoking his bar, what's it called, bar license or whatever it is that like you get to practice or to be a prosecutor, or what's it called, lawyer? Yes, lawyer. Thank you. Like, I guess there's like a lawyer license or whatever, that thing. I mean, I know there's like a bar exam or whatever, but I don't know what it's like officially called. So whatever, his lawyer license, it ends up getting revoked. But then it's cool because there's this rooftop scene with him and the lady lawyer who was with him in the court. I keep forgetting her name. I'm sorry. I've been reading this issue I've been reading the series since like issue 1, only since like issue like 22 or 23, and she only like now just like popped in. So I was like, what? Who's this lady? But yeah, she's like, you know, the only way you can get around that is if you go back to a state that you've practice. Wait a minute, what is it? It's almost impossible for a disbarred lawyer to be admitted to any other state bar, unless, of course, it's a state where they've previously practiced. And then he was like, well, I did live in San Francisco I did live in San Francisco once. And then she's like, San Francisco has pretty good doctors because he's going to have to take Foggy with him. Because that's like one of the things they were talking about at the beginning was like, you know, if I lose, or if I win this case, it's going to cost us the practice, which is going to cost you your insurance, and that's going to, you know, you have cancer right now, so you're going to like really need that, so we can't have that. It's not worth it to like basically the cost of me clearing my name will result in you dying. But then Foggy is like, dude, it's totally worth it because that's like what Daredevil's all about as far as like your integrity and whatnot, which is like what he went into with that whole discussion, which is pretty cool. But then here at the end, it's like, well, I guess I'm going back to California, so so it's like, okay, there's a connection of like why Daredevil is going out to California, because this is the end of this run on the series, and it's going to start with a new #1 in March next month with on new Daredevil #1. So going to San Francisco, maybe. I'm not sure if he's. Oh, I guess I assume San Francisco. That's pretty cool. I didn't know where in California it was going to be, so I was thinking it was going to be in LA because Punisher's in LA. So I thought they both would be in LA, but that's cool too. But yeah, this was really good. Send off finale, happy ending for the most part. He just has to. It's weird though because he has to like leave Hell's Kitchen in New York, so it's like, you know, which is weird because like he's supposed to be like the guardian of Hell's Kitchen, but whatever. It's cool. He can always come back, I guess. I'm wondering how that'll work since he's a lawyer, but yeah. Daredevil in San Francisco coming next month. I'll totally be checking it out. But yeah, I did enjoy this issue as well. Really enjoyed it. Really good. I like the whole, you know, courtroom drama, like 80% of the issue, and then yeah. So yeah, that's it for what I thought on Daredevil. I'll be coming back after this with Unity number 4, I believe. Yeah, Unity number 4 from Valiant. I need to read the first 3 issues first, though, so it'll be a while. Maybe, we'll see. Alright, so yeah, I'll be coming back with my thoughts on Valiant number 4 after this. Alright, Internet, so I'm back. However, I did not read Unity number 4 because in the interest of time, it just would have taken too long and I wanted to get this done. So instead of reading another X-Men book, I read Punisher number 2, really good follow-up to number 1. So right now, Frank is in LA tracking the gang called the Los, or is it Dos Santos, one of the two. And so this issue starts off, it's like a flashback to five months ago in Mexico. He's at this village and he's looking for them, but there's just corpses. And then he's basically tracking them, and they're in a meeting. And he's got some night vision goggles out, and then there's a van that rolls in to like give them some sort of weapon. And there's just this bright flash, and it shorts out his goggles, and then he's like, and it blinds them, knocks him on the floor or the ground. It makes a noise, and then like the Los Santos dudes or I should probably look at that so I don't keep saying it wrong, but whatever. The Dos Santos, whatever they are. Dos Solos, that's it. Dos Sols, whatever. Dos Solos. They like hear him knock over his little night vision goggle binocular tripod thing, and then their boss is like, go check it out. And then in that panel you can see like the dudes that they're meeting with are the AIM people. So, or AIM henchmen. And so they go over to like check it out, but then before they get over to where Frank's at, there's like a coyote that jumps out, attacks one of them, and they're like, oh, it's just a coyote. Well, let's go ahead and kill it, 'cause they shoot it like before it attacks them, but it's not dead and it's just like laying there. And they're like, okay, let's just put it out its misery and kill it. Before they can, Frank jumps out and like pops them both, and then he's like, easy there, coyote. It's just me. And that's like what the name of the issue is, Coyote. And then it's interesting, like in the next like section of the book, it's like he's back at the cafe. That's like a thing. Like in the first issue, he's there talking with like the server dude, and there's like a lady police officer. Her name's I don't remember. She says that what did she say? Yeah, she says you can call her Sammy, but I don't know what her name is from the first issue, so whatever. So Sammy's there, and then you know, he's just like talking to those two. That's like what he does, I guess, every morning after he goes out at night and does stuff. He comes to the diner and like has a, you know, scene with them, talking to them about stuff. It's pretty funny. And so 'cause like in the first issue, he like gives her a gun tip to like, you know, you should something about how like, if you had a shoulder strap for your gun, you'd be able to like shoot and reload faster or something. It was interesting. And then yeah, the like I'm trying to think of the word, but the server dude is like always giving him crap and stuff, so that's always funny. But like this like whole time he has like this shirt on that's like got a bullseye on it, so I'm not sure if that's like a reference to Hawkeye or to Bullseye or to what, but I thought that was interesting and pretty neat. But yeah, that and then he has like a contact in the military to like get him all his like equipment and guns and whatnot. And so he shows up and he's like, oh dude, let's talk about some stuff outside. Because he gets his food to go, and then when his contact shows up, he's like, alright, let's go outside and talk about some stuff. And he's like, yeah, they got this new weapon, blah blah blah. It knocked out my night vision goggles. I don't know what it is. I'm gonna track him down and see what it is, blah blah blah. And then he's like, while I'm gone, because I'm gonna be away for a while, could you take care of this thing? And then he opens up the door to his trailer, and there's like Coyote that he saved. So he's taking care of the Coyote, and he's like, I named him Loot. It's short for Lieutenant. And then he goes off to just make his rounds. And then it goes to El Segundo, where the police officer lady and like two of her partners are in a shootout with the Dos Soles, and then they're about to like try to move in and flank him, and she's giving him covering fire, but like right before they get to him, there's another like flash of that. Wait, no, there wasn't a flash before, but there's like a blue electric-y flash, and so since she's like getting covered in fire, she's like farther away, but then she like looks over the cover and like sees that like her two squad mates are like charred remains, and then there's like two Dos Solos, and she's like, freeze, everybody lower your weapons, blah blah blah. and they don't, but then before anything can happen, there's some like tear gas or some sort of gas that's like thrown in. It's weird because like the gas is purple, so I'm like, what type of gas is this? It's not like a smoke grenade or something, I don't know. I was like, what? And then like there's a voice bubble behind it that says get down, and then like she gets down, and then like the Punisher comes in and just like shoots up everybody. And then what happens after that? Oh yeah, then she's like out of it, so I'm not sure if this is some sort of like knockout gas or something, but she's like, they're out back, they have some sort of weapon, watch out. And then she's like going unconscious. And then Frank sees him leaving in this truck, and he's trying to like chase after him on his motorcycle. And then there's another truck that attacks him. He throws a grenade in it, blows it up. And then before he can get to the truck that's escaping, there's another shot of the electric beams or whatever that we don't know what it is yet. And then he's like, curses, they got away. And then also there's a group of like special ops agents tracking Frank to try and take him down that were introduced in the first issue. They're called the Howling Commandos, and then so they roll into the crime scene after everything's gone down, and they're like, oh, he was here, but we didn't get to him in time, so I'll have to come back or whatever. And then it goes to Frank driving down the highway in his van, talking to the contact dude about like the dog and whatnot, and just like the stuff that he got shot at with like the electric bluey stuff, and he's like, yeah, I don't know what it was. But then like as he's driving, the thing comes out of nowhere, the blue thingy, and then hits him. His phone goes out, and then his friend just thinks it's like a cell phone tower issue. And then you see that like he's being monitored by the Howling Commandos, and they were able to trace his phone or whatnot from his conversation that he just had with Frank. And it goes back to Frank, and like his van gets flipped over, and there's all this like electrical stuff going. And then yeah, something he said earlier on. Hold on, there's a part he says something earlier on. Let me find it. He's like there's a strata of villains, too dangerous for the cops, but not big enough for the superheroes. And so it turns out that the blue thing was actually, it wasn't a weapon, it was a person, and we find out who it is. I'm not going to say who it is because it's a spoiler, but yeah. So it's really interesting because it's like a villain, but to me it seems like it's a villain that's probably, I would say, in a higher tier than the Punisher. So I'm going to be very interested to see like how he handles the situation and tries to take him on with in the next issue. So that'll be interesting. But that was pretty much it. It was pretty good, well paced. Everything just like the first issue. Pretty, all the dialogue and like narration really well done. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely picking this one up on a regular basis now. So totally worth it. those are my 3 issues for this week. Punisher, Uncanny X-men, and Daredevil. Which one did I like the most? That's a tough one. I'd say Daredevil. Daredevil is really good, and like I just like the fact that it was like such a courtroom drama setup and just delivered as far as like, you know, wrapping up the series and then getting it to work and start new from #1 in LA. But yeah, it's this issue, and I'm gonna go and edit this into a video, upload it, and yeah, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, favorite, share it with your friends or not. And until you see or hear from me again, I'm now signing off. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching.